Hey guys, welcome back for day 3 of the Stronger Than Yesterday free challenge. And tonight we're going to be talking all about supplements. Now, I'm not going to tell anyone that these are essential, right, to our survival. Although, one reason to take supplements is nutritional deficiencies or potential deficiencies. So in that case, they might be nutrients that you need. However, if someone is in like a life or death situation where they're in danger of starving, a vitamin B complex is not going to be what you buy instead of getting food, right? Like these are, for the most part, non-caloric or low calorie. So I just want to be real and say, like, I understand that, this is like a kind of hierarchy of needs thing where, like, this is not something that we need to survive. But at the same time, a lot of people just say, oh, I can't afford that. And I hope that in just sharing what I use, which is quite a few of them, I'll be doing a little show and tell, that it might just help you see some ways that you could be doing yourself a favor just by saving a little bit of time with the convenience factor. Or, we always come back to looking at things from the financial point of view, right? Or I don't know, maybe not everyone does, but it's kind of where I land, and like it's how I have to justify things when I'm talking about it with my husband. So we do like the cost benefit analysis, right? And if you look at that, like say you're using something that gives you more energy, then you can be more productive, or makes you feel more positive, then you're able to maybe be more creative. Like there are benefits that could be quantified if we want to get that kind of transactional about it. And, sometimes that's necessary. So I'll be talking a little bit about it from that point of view. But this is really just my experience, and I want to say that. So kind of the overall recommendation that I have for supplements is do your research. So tonight you are hearing one person's opinion, and this is what I believe very strongly, but that doesn't mean you're going to agree with everything I say. So after tonight, go do some reading and, or, not just with the supplements that I mentioned, but like anything you're going to be putting in your body, food included. I just always encourage you, like, I couldn't feel more strongly. It's important to do your homework, do your research. Google is our friend, and, don't believe the first thing you read either. I usually try to read several articles and see what their sources are. This is a skill that, as a former journalist, I guess kind of comes naturally to me, and I don't always remember that, once upon a time it was something I also learned. So read a few different sources and see, they might have different things to say about the same topic, the same question. See what sources they are drawing on to form their opinions, and form your own opinion. But it really is worth learning about what we're putting into our bodies, because it is so crucial to our health. Like food is medicine. Supplements are not regulated as medicine, but they act in a lot the same way as many drugs in some cases. So be informed. Be informed and stay informed, always staying on top of like reading about health, reading about nutrition. I know not everyone necessarily has a lot of time for that. It's something I really enjoy, but that's part of why I'm a coach, to help you kind of draw your attention to like recent articles and studies that I think are really interesting and relevant. So I hope that's part of why you guys are part of this community and enjoy working with me, that I might draw your attention to things you might not have seen otherwise. But go out there and just, read newspapers and magazines about, the health section in newspapers, health-related magazines. They have a lot of research findings all the time, and research about, new discoveries about different, vitamins and minerals and herbs, supplements. So stay on top of it is kind of my number one recommendation, like before we get into specific supplements. But and by the way, hello, Erin. I see that you're on here. I don't see any other names so far. Say hi if you're watching. And I just asked this question on my public page, and some of you answered. But what supplements do you take? What questions do you have about supplements in terms of like ones that you've thought about trying, but you're like, is it worth it? Do I need it? I might not necessarily know the answer, but I might have an opinion. So go ahead and ask your questions, and if I don't know the answer, I will just say that. I don't have a problem saying that. Yeah, as long as you're not expecting me to know everything, because nobody does, right? Not even doctors. Don't talk very much about nutrition, usually. But let's get into supplements. So I take some that are just kind of vitamins. Well, this is my multivitamin, Shakeology, and I'll get more into what's in here. But I don't take a multivitamin separately from that. That's kind of one cost savings that I get from this protein shake, but also a multivitamin. So in addition to that, I do supplement vitamin D. And I haven't had my vitamin D levels measured in a long time. They were somewhat low. I mean, this was a long time ago now, like at least 5 years ago, and I've been taking supplements since then. And from the research I've done, you know, it's 1,000 IU daily is what I take. And I haven't read anything that indicated that that could actually be a problem to take too much. So I just kind of assume, like, I don't spend a lot of time outside, probably not getting enough here in the north, and I really, really noticed a big difference. So there was one, like the first year that I took it, I stopped in springtime. And my depression came like roaring back. It was really bad. And I just thought, well, I'm out. At the time I was walking outside a lot. And again, this is one person's experience, like definitely believe a research study over my story that I'm telling you. But for myself, you know, I was spending basically an hour and a half every day, like walking in the sunshine, short sleeves. I thought it was probably fine. And I stopped taking it. And then, like the way I was feeling just completely tanked. And as soon as I started taking it again, it got better. So I haven't stopped since then. Winter, summer, I just take it year round. Vitamin D. Really, really, and there is established research on vitamin D and mood, seasonal affective disorder. So I'll include some of those resources in your email to go along with tonight's video. Okay, so then the second one I take is B complex. And again, that's one where like, it's kind of an imprecise science, right? Unless you're getting blood work done all the time, which insurance usually doesn't cover for things like this. So you'd be paying out of pocket, but you know, they might cover it once, but like routine monitoring, they're probably only going to cover if you're like severely deficient. So B vitamins, it's another important one for mood and just different aspects of health. And, you know, it's just things that I had read where it said pretty much anyone can benefit from taking this, and there's not going to be any real drawbacks. I mean, obviously, like you want to stick to one per day and take an appropriate dose, but at, you know, the recommended dosage, there's not going to be an issue. Like, even if you're not deficient, just keep taking it. It's basically what I've read about that. So that's what I've been doing. And then selenium, which is in Brazil nuts, but the amount can vary. So like there was a time actually, I was having, well, the story's kind of irrelevant because I didn't turn out to have a thyroid issue, but I had some symptoms that seemed to indicate that I might. And I did notice that actually, where is it on here? Is it even on here? But selenium is not something, oh yeah, it is in here in Shakeology, but it's only 35% of the recommended daily allowance. And so I was reading about how selenium is something that your thyroid really needs to work properly. And I wasn't sure I was getting enough in my diet. So I just got one little pill I can take daily for that too. And that's one where, I mean, what I was experiencing and feeling, it did clear up like the last, so that was, boy, I want to say it was the winter of 2015 into 2016. So it's been 2 years now, and the last 2 winters have been way, way better for me. Like, there are other things in life that are, you know, could be contributing, but, you know, it's gotten me to where, like, I don't want to switch anything up right now because I'm feeling really good, and that was not always the case. So those are the 3 that I buy. I get them at Whole Foods. And then I have all of my supplements that I get from Beachbody. And again, you know, I'm not saying that, like, your life is going to be awful if you don't purchase these, but I find that they really help me. And, like, this is part of why I'm affiliated with this company, because, like I said, I do tons of reading about anything that I put in my body, and the more that I read about these supplements, the more I like them, the more enthusiastic I am about the health benefits. I find that Beachbody is a company that has a lot of integrity in how it operates. They're very transparent about their sourcing. When they discover a quality issue with any of their ingredients, they switch it out of the formula, and they've changed the formula for things several times since I've been involved with the company. They just pay a lot of attention to the quality of their ingredients. And so, you know, if you do price comparison at all, if you actually read the labels, you'll see that, like, there's just nothing else at the same price point that compares to these. If there are things that are a lot cheaper, they don't have the same things in them. And if there are things that even are about the same price, they're usually not as, you know, even, like, a lot of the protein shakes have, like, cheap fillers in them. If you look at, like, the actual grams of protein per scoop, you know, it'll say a scoop is a serving, but you're only getting, say, like 9 grams, while here a scoop has 17 grams, for example. So look at the numbers and not just the price per serving. All right, so let's talk about Shakeology. So this is kind of the foundation, and it is a protein shake, but it's really a lot more than that. And I'm going to try not to make this video too long because I want to make the special announcement at the end. You can get me going, could talk about these for a long time, but still feel free to ask any questions. Just it might make the video a little longer. All right, I'm not going to read you every ingredient because there are several dozen of them. But like I said, so it's protein. Mine tastes like cafe latte, tastes like coffee. There's chocolate, there's vanilla, there's strawberry. In addition to all of the vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, adaptogens, probiotics. I'll tell you a little bit about each of those categories. But in addition to all that, I just find that it's really valuable to have this on hand for when a craving does strike. It really was useful for me in helping to not be so dependent on sugar and just, like, crack that addiction the first time around, and then I've kind of gone back and forth with it since. But the first time is the hardest because you don't know that you can do it. Like, I didn't know that I could go without sugar for, like, even a couple of days, let alone weeks at a time. So when it's like, oh my gosh, you know, my husband's eating something sweet and I really want some, we'll just have this instead, and it really satisfies a lot of the same, like, taste profile. So I found it really helpful that way. But that being said, I don't ever skip a day because even if I'm not having those sweet cravings, I still want to get all of the nutritional benefits. So that includes probiotics, really, really important for gut health. I know we're talking about strength here, and I guess I'll get into more of the muscle building supplements in a minute, but this one is a foundation because it helps with immune function. Our gut microbiome plays a key role in immune function and also digestion, obviously. So if you are not going to the bathroom regularly, you're not going to have any energy, and you're not going to feel like working out, not going to feel like doing anything. You're going to have, like, lower willpower to avoid junk food. So probiotics are really important, and this has a high quality one. It's not destroyed in the small intestine the way a lot of them are, or not destroyed by stomach acid, rather, is what I meant to say. So, you know, certain probiotics that you might get in other products are destroyed before they ever get into your intestines, where they make a difference. So again, do some reading about it. I'll actually include a reference to that. I think it's really cool. You know what? I'm going to give you guys in your email There's a handout I made for a free challenge called the Vitality Challenge. Basically, everything I'm telling you tonight was like a full week, so it went in a lot more depth. It was 5 days. So there's a handout with links to references to a lot of this if you want to read more about any of these ingredients. So I'll just include that in the email. All right, adaptogens. So this is the category of ingredients. I think I got into it. Actually, no, it was for a different group. So I'll go into it here just quickly. So these are herbs that have been in use since ancient times, but as the scientific method and modern scientific studies developed, they started to study the effects. They actually could observe them at the cellular level. So astragalus, I think that's how you say that. That's the one that's really cool. That so basically, when scientists have studied, like, okay, we know like the outward symptoms of aging, but what does it look like? You know, what are the signs, you know, internally? So they discovered that every cell in the body is affected, like our DNA looks different as we age. It's what's called telomeres, like the end of each chromosome gets shorter, and you can tell a person's age partly by the length of the telomeres. However, there is some variation. Like, you can't just say, okay, this person's 75 years old. It might be like it gets shorter faster. We all know people who look like older for their age versus people who look young for their age, right? So I don't know if that's the mechanism that's causing that, but it's, you know, at least analogous, right? Where like on the cellular level, there's people who look older than their age and there's people who look younger than their age. So people who consume this herb regularly, their telomeres do not shorten as fast. And there was one, some people actually, it was reversed, like the telomeres were getting longer with consumption of this herb. So that to me is like, sign me up. And I'm, you know, there's this whole like cult of youth where we all have to try and look young for as long as possible. And I don't want to buy into that too much, but like the more life and vitality that I can have, like I love life, and there's so much more that I want to do and try and time I want to spend with people. So I just, you know, I want to be here for a while. And so that's a big part of what I love about Shakeology. And then, so phytonutrients, power greens, moringa, chlorella, spinach, kale, matcha, let's see, antioxidants. So this information is all going to be in the Vitality Challenge handout. But so basically, this is, like I say, this is the foundation because it helps us have energy for life, but also for workouts. And, you know, if you're just feeling good on a basic level, it helps with discipline, it helps with willpower, it helps with a positive attitude. So that's why I say this is the foundation. But let's get into, and I mean, it also has some protein, so that helps with building muscle. Oh, I didn't mention the mushrooms. Actually, real quick, so this one doesn't really have to do with building muscle either. I'll get out of the way real quick, but focused energy. Why is it so white? You can't see the label. It says focused energy boost. But what's in here, so there's this proprietary energy blend, Natural Calm Energy Boost. Not going to talk too much about that, but the mushroom blend. So some of them are in Shakeology and some of them are in here. But together, there's some really interesting studies that these, they're actually used with chemotherapy patients because they have an effect on tumor growth, slowing it down, and they also reduce the side effects of chemotherapy. So there's some resources on that too. It's just like very cool, I think. And that's another one when I run out of it, I'm like, no, because it's like, again, you know, no one is getting out of this life alive, right? No one's getting out of here alive. Like, we're all getting older. Something gets all of us eventually, but, you know, that's just pretty cool that if we have cancer beginning in our body, that could help just slow the growth and buy us more time, and help us feel better for longer. I think that's pretty incredible. Okay, so those are my two like must-haves. So then let's get into So these are the performance line. So I do use these whenever I do a hard workout. We've got the chocolate recover. It also comes in orange, like Orange Julius flavor. And then vanilla recharge. Okay, so this one is for your post-workout. Oh, you know what? My Energize is still upstairs too, but I'll tell you about that. Okay, so Energize pre-workout brings more energy to your muscles, so you can lift heavier, push harder, longer, and your perceived exertion is less. And this was proven in a scientific study with, random controlled trial. So that's going to be in your email too. But it's all plant-based and it has some pretty remarkable effects. So it's just going to help you build muscle faster, and it's all natural. So all of these, it says informed sport, trusted by sport. So that's a certification. Basically, any professional athletes could take these and they would not test positive for performance enhancing drugs, which obviously none of that stuff is in here, but there are things that can also make them have a false positive. So this is cleared and is the official supplement line of the Ironman organization. How cool is that? That's how trusted these are and effective. So we have the pre-workout, the one that I don't have down here. This is for during your workout, really simple, like a clean version of Gatorade, but I find that it helps me push harder also. I know Erin's on here and she heard me say this the other night. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I want to say it for everyone who is not on my video the other night. In our, it's for the Lift 4 launch, our new workout program. So, Hydrate is what it's called. It's like a clean version of Gatorade. None of the artificial colors, none of the weird preservatives, just electrolytes. And what this does, so we lose minerals when we sweat. And then when the body we get dehydrated, right? Slightly by sweating. So the body has to replace that liquid, drink water, right? But then there's a process that happens where the body has to remineralize the water, taking minerals we eat in our food, salt. So that's why I say don't do a no salt diet. If you're exercising hard, you need some sodium. You do a low salt diet, don't do a zero salt diet. Anyways, so electrolytes, salt, potassium, magnesium. So your body has to remineralize the liquid, the water you drink, in order to be absorbed and utilized in your blood and lymphatic fluid and all the other things that are liquid in your body. So that takes time. The minerals have to be present and available. It takes just, extra energy from your body, which if you're doing a hard workout, your body doesn't have extra energy for it at that time. So by drinking water that's already mineralized, it just matches the chemistry of the fluids that are in your body, and it's much more quickly absorbed to help you replace those fluids more quickly. And when I feel I'm crashing during my workout, I just have a sip of this and it makes it so much better. So it's actually not very expensive at all, and the tub lasts a long time and I just love it. And then, okay, I said post-workout recover. Chocolate or orange. I like the chocolate. It tastes like a chocolate malt. And this has whey protein. Well, it has pea protein also, but it is, has some dairy in it. And then it has branched chain amino acids. So basically this is formulated with a type of protein that's going to be quickly taken up by your muscles right after your workout. It's optimized. So obviously, you can eat other types of protein, still going to be good for you right after your workout to help your muscles start to rebuild. And that's part of how your muscles grow and get stronger. So if you have this, it just makes it a little easier, more efficient for your body. Again, it's not that this is essential, but it does help. Not to mention, if you're getting sick of eating the same protein sources, it's just fun to mix it up, vary it up a little bit with the chocolate shake instead, instead of ground beef or whatever it is else you're having, tofu. Yeah. So the other ingredient in here, pomegranate extract. So natural, botanical, anti-inflammatory. I find it to be super effective at reducing soreness, which I suffer from a lot. I definitely notice the difference if I do a tough workout and I don't have this versus if I do I'm actually able to walk the next day. Similar with the bedtime formula. I love this one too. It's vanilla. It tastes like a vanilla milkshake. Some people like to just use a tiny bit of water and make it like pudding. And some people use more water. Blend it up, mix it up, blend it really well. It can be a little chunky. If you blend it really well, it's just like a vanilla milkshake. It tastes really good. A little bit of peanut butter in it, spoonful is what I put in. And then with usually just water, sometimes a splash of milk, makes it a little more rich, gives it a little sweetness. So this has a different form of protein and different amino acids, right? Different ones. Yeah, wait. No, it's the same branched chain amino acids. So again, it's helping your muscles rebuild, but this one is formulated because of the different type of protein to release slowly while you're sleeping. So your body has that protein source accessible all through the night to complete the work that it needs to do in repairing your muscles. And then this one has tart cherry powder, which is another really effective anti-inflammatory, pain relief, preventing soreness ingredient. And I think like the combination of the two of these is really necessary for me if I'm doing a tough workout, and also during times of the month when I'm prone to getting cramps. I just do not skip these because I notice it if I skip them. So I think that's really it. So in this line, we also have a digestive health and power greens. But when we're talking about building strength, Shakeology is the baseline, and then these performance ones really help with performance during your workout, but also rebuilding after your workout. And I think that can be really helpful if you're trying to build muscle and get stronger. And I think from what I've seen, I've done from time to time some research online, just like looked at things at GNC, looked at the protein shake aisle in Whole Foods, in Target. And it's hard to find anything with as clean of an ingredient list as these. There's just like nothing extraneous here. Like what's in here is just the active ingredients and just a little bit of natural flavoring. So I think it's really something special. All right, oh shoot, I forgot to mention, I was going to say at the beginning, I also take vitamin C. So what I wanted to say about that is, do your research and know why you're taking supplements. Like I think I just explained to you a specific reason why I use each of these, and they kind of fill a gap, and that's exactly what supplements are intended to do. So vitamin C, I started taking, I actually was really severely anemic after, long story, but I had surgery, like massive life-threatening complications, and developed severe kidney issues because of that. Well, the process of creating red blood cells starts with a hormone that's produced by the kidneys. So when my kidneys weren't working, there's less of that hormone, and my red blood cell count got really low. So then, I just, I wasn't feeling good, went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, how are you even like up and walking right now? It was kind of scary, but I had done some research and learned that I was drinking a lot of tea because, well, anyways, I don't really remember why, but I was drinking a ton of tea. The tannins in the tea block iron absorption from your food. So I had less of this hormone, less iron was being absorbed, and my body just had nothing to work with. So vitamin C boosts the absorption of iron. If you're drinking coffee, tea, red wine with your foods that contain iron, the tannins can block the iron from being absorbed. But if you also have some vitamin C in the same meal or within an hour before or after, according to what I read, it promotes iron absorption. So then your body is still getting the iron, even if you're also having those tannins. Like I always have coffee with my breakfast. So I just try and, take vitamin C afterwards. And I've never had low iron since then. And that I do have measured regularly in my blood work. So overall, like I said, always know why you're taking what you're taking. Like, there's a lot of my customers who take Shakeology just because like they heard from me that it was good, and I support that, but more than that, I support like really educating yourself, because your body is too precious to just kind of blindly eat whatever and not consider what's going into it. So know about what you're consuming, both food and supplements, know why, have like a specific purpose or goal. And then again, like none of these are essential, but consider the convenience factor, and that it can be part of self-care. It can be a way to be kind to yourself, to consume things that help you feel better, help you be more productive, more creative, or just save you time. So I think sometimes we're so thrifty, it's like, oh, I don't pay for things like that. And it could be like a treat, like, for example, if you're working on cutting junk food out of your diet, those things are often the little like splurge treats. I don't know, like a sugary coffee drink or going out for ice cream. Like, get some really high quality supplements instead and have that be your treat for yourself. It's a lot healthier. I mean, nothing wrong with going out for ice cream once in a while, but I actually used to do it every day. I think it's kind of funny when I tell people that, but like I would have an energy crash every afternoon, and I was in this habit. Then your body starts to expect sugar. So I'd be like, I physically can't keep working. I would leave my office and I'd go get ice cream every afternoon. Healthy, right? Okay, so the other thing that I love about supplements is that, they do fill in the gaps. That I try to eat as healthy as I can, but to be honest, it's hard to get all of the nutrients that your body would need in a day from your diet. And, with a high quality multivitamin like Shakeology, then I know that I'm filling in those gaps and basically the bases are covered. So if there's a day when, especially when I'm traveling, I make sure to have it, because if I'm eating restaurant food, you can bet that it doesn't have as many nutrients as a diet of, a typical day at home. Filling in those gaps, a big part of the value. Now, I'm going to tell you, so basically this program is kind of just a week-long like taste of what I offer as a coach. So I'm going to tell you about a way to take it to the next level, but first I want to look at comments and questions. Okay, is it bad to take Shakeology while still taking a prenatal? So at first I am obliged to tell you to ask your doctor and see what they say. But from what I've heard from the coaching community, most people they either have the vegan, which is not fortified, so it doesn't have all those multivitamin counts on the back of it. The label looks different. And then you can take a multivitamin with the vegan Shakeology. And you're taking vegan, right? So if you're taking regular, some people just do, I think it's just folate and then regular Shakeology instead of a prenatal. Oh, can you read my shirt? I thought it was backwards. Running late is my cardio. I actually saw someone wearing this shirt when we were in Mexico on the Beachbody trip, and I was like, I think I need that. And my husband said, I think you do. I found it on Etsy when we got home. Erin says, I like Hydrate. It costs even less as a coach than Pedialyte Advanced. Yeah, it doesn't have artificial sweeteners. And I think, does Pedialyte have artificial color too? Maybe. I think it might. How do you know what days you need recharge and or recover? Just the workouts you're usually sore from the next day. Yes, that's how I decide. A lot of my clients with 80-day obsession specifically, they would skip it on the cardio days. I was finding that I was really sore from the cardio days. So I started taking, if I do a workout, I take these two. And if I don't, then I skip them and just eat, eat the same otherwise, but skip these two, and I skip Hydrate too if I'm not working out. So the performance line is what I don't do. But yeah, if I'm doing, so if it was a shorter workout or actually when I was recovering from my hand surgery and I was doing really lighter workouts that weren't hard at all, essentially just getting back to exercise, I didn't use the performance line. So yeah, anything that would make you sore. And I know you don't always know, you kind of have to guess, but if you're doing the same workouts you've done before, then you should have a good idea. And you like your recharge with more water. Yeah, some people like to eat it with a spoon. Why do they help with cramps? It's the anti-inflammatory benefits. So they basically, the category of medicines, including ibuprofen, also Aleve, and aspirin, are all NSAIDs, non-steroid anti-inflammatory. Does D stand for drugs and NSAIDs? NSAIDs is the category. And those are the ones that I can't take because of my kidneys, because they're processed through the kidneys. But I used to take a ton of ibuprofen because I have endometriosis and really painful periods. And these are the anti-inflammatory botanical. It's just like the natural non-drug ingredient has a similar effect. So anti-inflammatory, really, really helpful for my pain levels. Okay, is it just red wine? I think you're referring to the tannins. And so white wine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure what I looked up is that white wine doesn't have the tannins because those are in the grape skins. So yeah, red wine, tea, and coffee, high in tannins. And that's what would block iron absorption from your food. That's awesome. The Cafe Latte Shakeology works with caffeine sensitivity. Yeah. Yes. And just a really quick note on Shakeology and sensitivities. So again, always check with your doctor and, proceed with caution. So if it's like a life-threatening allergy, don't try it, obviously. But if it is a sensitivity, you could start with a small amount and try it. But I have clients who are lactose intolerant. This has whey protein. The vegan doesn't. But, some people use the regular formula. What it also has is lactase, which is a digestive enzyme that helps you digest lactose. So it's, from what I understand, the same active ingredient as Lactaid, right? The medicine that people take when they're lactose intolerant so they can have some cheese or ice cream. So, it could be depending on, again, what the sensitivity is and how severe it is and what specifically it's responding to. Like Shakeology could turn out to be okay. And I'm not saying to take your chances if could be a really serious reaction, but people have been able to tolerate things that they didn't necessarily expect when it comes to this, so don't rule it out either. Yeah, vegan chocolate and regular cafe latte. Okay, so in that case, maybe, so if you're drinking the regular, maybe you only take the prenatal every other day or something. You just want, there are certain vitamins and minerals that you don't want to have too much of. So look at the RDA on the back of your prenatal. Look at the label on the back of the regular Shakeology. But if you're not having both every day, that's what I would say. You can alternate days, regular and vegan or something like that. Do I adjust what I eat? Okay. So, with reference to recharge and recover, if you're following any of the meal plans that are based on the container system, these are not counted. And I know that in a way it doesn't make sense, and in a way it does. So just bear with me here. I mean, it's not a perfect system. We just get as close as we can. So if you look at the back of this, recharge, it has 100 calories, 20 grams of protein, looking for fat and carbs, 6 grams of carbohydrates. I'm not seeing fat on here, so that must mean there's not a significant amount of fat. But so anyway, 100 calories, we got 20 grams of protein and 6 grams of carbs. So it was determined by the Beachbody nutritionist that if you're doing a really tough workout, your body just needs that extra protein and basically makes use of it. In the past, I did count it as a red container because I was having trouble getting all of my red containers, protein servings that the plan was recommending for me. When I started 80 Day Obsession, but you know, the other thing I was doing was I just wasn't eating enough at that time. So when I started 80 Day Obsession, I quickly realized that I needed to eat more, and I was like, screw it. Like, I just have to figure it out with these red containers, and I have to get enough protein because I wasn't having energy. I was having really like severe cravings for junk food. And so I just started eating more, and that all was resolved. But so as a result, like I'm having more yogurt, more cottage cheese. Those are basically snacks for me now. That I never had before. And then Shakeology for breakfast, and then either meat or fish for lunch and dinner. So that's kind of how I've handled it with getting enough red containers in. And then these are just extra. They're not counted. So either, you know, you're having these or you're not, but you don't get more food if you're not having these. And that's how the nutrition plan is written. Obviously, you can decide to deviate from it, but that's how it's written. Yeah, Erin, I think that's a good solution. Take your prenatal on the days when you use vegan. And then obviously, you know, you're taking the prenatal for a reason. So every other day might be a good idea just to make sure you're getting, because I think it's folate that is really the relevant ingredient for prenatal that's not in other vitamins. Do some research on that though. Don't take my word for it. Okay, what about adjusting what and how you eat while following 2B mindset? Tell me more about what you mean by that, and I am going to, I'll answer that question at the end, and then I'm going to go into my conclusion, which is a special announcement, which is that I have created a new program, which is called the Strength Building Support System. And this is a way for you to work with me on these same concepts that I've been telling you about this week and will be for the next 2 days, but you'll get to work with me for a full year. And let me just pull up the page that I made about that. And I'll be posting the link for you after I'm done here. If only I could find it. I thought I was so prepared. My computer is not cooperating. There we go. Okay. All right. So the strength building support system. So in this free challenge this week, you're getting basically a taste of what it's like to work with me. And I think you're seeing, hopefully, that I am really passionate about these topics and will, you know, basically connect you with information that's going to help you learn more about nutrition, about fitness, about how your body works. And so you'll be getting to access to me for a year, and to also to Beachbody On Demand. So the workout library I told you about on Monday for a year. And it includes either Shakeology or the Performance line. There's a package where you can get both actually, but it costs a little more. But so you get to try these supplements that I've been talking about. You get access to, so the email it's going, I'm a day behind on the emails, but the email about nutrition from yesterday has a sample meal plan for 80 Day Obsession. So you would get the full access to all of the Beachbody nutrition plans, 80 Day Obsession, and all the others, like everything that Beachbody has ever made. And then you get access to our support groups. So not only like what we're talking, how I'm answering questions on the video right now, like this basically, that level of attention is usually outside of the free challenge, would be reserved for my paying clients and VIPs, team members. And, if somebody, basically, if you were to send me a private message, like outside of one of these videos, that's not something like I don't just do coaching for free. So that would be something that I reserve for paying clients. But so you would have access to me for that, for everything from like, here's my food log. What do you think? Where can I make improvements? Having this, I don't know, shoulder pain in my workout, and what do you think could be causing it? Questions, one-on-one coaching, that's what it is. Or I'm having trouble getting the scale to budge, what could be going on? So you get access to me and that type of coaching and support. We also do one-on-one phone calls once a month for my clients and VIPs if you want that. And then there's a virtual support group, which I think is a super fun experience of, other people doing the same program along with you. It may not be the exact same workouts, but some type of Beachbody workout, some type of Beachbody nutrition plan, and getting to share experiences, support each other, and just feel uplifted by that vibe, I think is a really valuable part. I like having that social element to the experience. And then, throughout the year, pretty much like any bonuses, like all of the content that you're seeing in here, it'll be up for a week and then it'll be taken, or well, in this case, it's like 2 or 3 weeks. It'll be taken down though at some point and you no longer have access to it. So, as either, a paying client or a VIP, whichever, if you're involved with one of my programs that way, you get access to all the bonuses that I offer. So these videos, it's going to be, a secret link on YouTube, but those are going to go in my VIP community and those people will have lifetime access. So there really is a lot extra, everything that I do, everything I create, I share really freely with my clients. And I think, there's just extra value in that as well. I personally, it's why I decided to become a coach, the feeling of being part of a group and having that just support system of people who are excited about healthy living, troubleshooting, problem solving together, and getting excited, celebrating victories. It just was really infectious in a good way. And I've kind of been addicted ever since. So I wanted to, then I joined as a participant, and shortly thereafter started creating my own groups, my own programs to recreate that environment in my own business. And, that's what I want to share with you. And that's what I would like you to be part of if you're interested in working together for the next year to build strength. So you would have access to the exact workouts, exact nutrition plan that I've been talking about the last couple of days, but also a variety of other options as well. It's not just only that program. So the next 2 days, we're going to be talking about the value of a support system and then self-care. And if you're wondering how those topics relate to building muscle and building strength, I actually think they are directly related. So you have to tune in to find out how. That'll be Thursday and Friday at 8 p.m. Central. And before I go, I'm just going to answer Erin's question. Okay, what about adjusting how you eat while following 2B mindset when taking Recharge and Recover? I just think, I forget if Alana said anything about whether to count them as your snack or just something extra. But my opinion is just if you're doing a hard workout, it's just a little extra thing that you get that you don't have to count or replace. Just like with any shake, be careful what you mix it with. So for example, if you're drinking Recharge plain with water, it's just an extra. Don't count it. Just don't even worry about it. If you're blending it up with fruit and peanut butter, that's when you want to maybe consider it a snack and, maybe have some vegetables at the same time to get the full kind of all parts of the snack together. Does that help? But just kind of just by itself, there's almost nothing to it. It's all protein, almost. And that's really what your body is craving and needing when you're just getting done with the workout or when you're sleeping and recovering. But then, just like with Shakeology, if you're starting to mix it with a lot of other things, then it's going to keep you full longer, but you also have to consider then where it fits kind of relative to the other foods that you're eating. Think of it as more of a meal or a snack versus just an extra. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. I will monitor and see if more questions are posted once this is over, but I am going to wrap it up, and I will see you guys tomorrow.